So for the ice cream base, we're gonna need, I'm using two types of teas. So I'm using my ceremonial green matcha tea. I'm also using jasmine pearls, and these are hand wrapped pearls. These are the huge ones, very nice, good grade of tea. I'm going to use about a third of a cup of tea, which is about 8 of these large pearls, and I'm going to use 4 half a teaspoons of matcha. Also, I'm going to need some honey in a minute. I'll get into that. It's about a half a cup, maybe 3/4 of a cup of honey. And there are 4, count them, 4 cups of milk, 3 cups of whole heavy whipping cream, and 1 cup of whole milk. So you could have made this non-dairy. It's my first time doing ice cream, so I don't want to risk it because it does change up the recipe somewhat. So that's why I'm going to straight dairy, but I will do this with a non-dairy in the future. So step 1, you take your 4 cups of milk, which is a couple of heavy cream and a couple of milk, throw them in a pot. Bring it on a medium heat, let it start boiling. Just before it boils, keep stirring so it doesn't actually boil. You throw in your tea leaves, in my case, the jasmine tea, and that's basically it. You go from there. So after letting the milk and tea leaves, as well as the matcha tea, boil for about 6 minutes or so, that's when the tea is actually steeping. Instead of water, you're steeping it in milk. You strain it, and this is the strainer that I used. That's the tea leaves. Strain it into glass dish and sweeten it with honey. For the amounts that I used, which was 4 quarts of milk, 4 cups of milk total. I used about a half a cup, maybe 3/4 of a cup of honey. That's it. Whisk it in until the honey's dissolved. And now this goes in the fridge, not freezer, to cool for like an hour or so before we continue with the recipe. Important little side note I just wanted to show here. When I'm putting the mixture in the fridge to cool for a little while, you always want to wrap it, or put it in a glass dish and put a plastic wrap over it. And I don't know if you can tell here, but the plastic wrap needs to be touching the milk. The reason for that is that prevents it from forming a skin. Because milk gets cold, you can form a skin over it. This is what prevents that. So plastic wrap touching the milk directly. We're going to stick it in the fridge now. So I took the liquid is cooled for a couple hours now. Took it out of the fridge and I separated about half of it, so about 2 cups. I'm going to throw that in a pot and put it at a very, very, very low heat. And then we're going to whisk that with 2 egg yolks into kind of a custard, basically. Here's the base. Added in 2 egg yolks. This is the separated 2 cups. And now we have it under a very, very low heat. And we're going to just kind of whisk it for 15 minutes or so. We'll basically thicken it, kind of make it into a custard, and we'll re-add it and let it cool overnight. So we've removed the base out of the fridge. There it is. Strained it one more time just to pick up any other chunks that may have formed. And as you can see, some of the tea, particularly the matcha. Matcha is like that. It reverts back to leaf status, whatever you want to call it, pretty quickly. So the extra straining is good. And now we're going to add, I already added, about half a tablespoon of something called unflavored liquid chlorophyll. And it sounds like a chemical, but it's not. Well, it is, but it's not an additive, it's not artificial. It is the component that makes the leaves of a plant green. It's very healthy. It has other health benefits supposedly as well, but that's what we use to give it the rich green color. So I've added about half of a tablespoon, but you add as much as you want and whisk it in until you get the desired green color. That's it. It's whisked in now, and now we'll go to the next step. Important note with making ice cream, assemble your ice cream maker. Always turn the maker on before you add the ingredients. So the ingredients should be added while the device is on, which we're going to do right now. Ice cream has been added. As you can see, it's churning. And now you let it churn for about 20 minutes. About 3 minutes. At about 20 minutes, we're going to throw in our cocoa nibs and let it churn for another couple of minutes, and then we're basically done. So we got a minute or two left to go. So I'm about to dump some cocoa nibs right into the opening. It's about 3 tablespoons of cocoa nibs. That'll get blended in, kind of stirred in, and then we'll be good to go. Ice cream is complete. You can see pretty nice texture. It's kind of like soft serve. So I'm going to stick it in the freezer for a couple hours, let it harden even more. If you like soft serve, you can eat it like this. If you prefer it harder, which I prefer my ice cream harder, you transfer it to a airtight container. So just get one of those ice cream containers, stick it in the freezer, make sure it's covered obviously, let it for a couple hours, it hardens. So ice cream has been transferred to my airtight container, which I'm going to put it in the fridge with. I'm going to have to obviously eat this. I just want to stress here, the entire kitchen right now smells like cocoa, which I didn't think it would smell that strong, you know, non-heated, and jasmine. It smells amazing in here. So I'm about to give it a little sample, and we'll see you later. Thank you. Jasmine, green matcha, ice cream with cocoa nibs.